Welcome to the Mack Talks, everybody. Episode 40. I am your host, Scott Johnson. Young fella across the table from me, Zach Morris, a.k.a. Chase Hutchison.
Hey, guys.
Chase, tell our guest and all of our listeners what our program is all about, like you always do.
All right, as always, if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, or community leader, the Mack Talks are the vehicle that bring you the stories that you need to hear.
Yes, sir. Today we have a great guest that I've been trying to get for a while. Heard her story one night driving late night in Delaware, and just thought it would be awesome to heard her over the radio. So I thought it would be awesome to have her come on and tell her story. So Chase, why don't you go ahead and intro her?
All right, so today we have Sarina Morales on the podcast. Sarina is the current LA Rams team reporter, conducting interviews. She hosts a weekly podcast and produces social media and video content for the Rams team. She has 10 years of experience in social media, broadcasting, and entertainment. Prior to her work at LA Rams, she worked as an anchor for ESPN and managed social media for National Geographic, growing their Facebook account from 300,000 followers to over 6 million.
Boom!
In a year.
Welcome,
Legendary.
Sarina. How are you?
Right, it was like in a year, not like, in like 50 years she grew that.
How you doing today?
Great, yeah, I'm here at the Rams facility. They're getting ready for a pretty long trip. We're going to Atlanta, we're going to London, so it's good, and I'm repping my Yankees today because the Yankees are playing. So
you're a New York gal, right? Bronx?
Right.
Were you born in the Bronx?
Yeah, I was born and raised in the Bronx. Yep.
Awesome. That's great. That's great. So you're probably pretty excited about your Yankees. I know it was a rain out last night, but what's coming is those pitchers are about to get spent, right? I mean, you got 4 games. I think they're going to run probably 4 games in 5 days because they had to do that delay.
Yeah, it's Tanaka Greinke tonight, so we'll see.
Well, hopefully Tanaka can give you more than 68 pitches. I don't know. I mean, there's a little bit, but
I've tried to talk to him, but he hasn't really heeded my, recommendation. So
yeah, right. Yeah, I hear you. First thing I want to talk about quickly is with the Rams. You guys took Ramsey from us. I'm an Eagles fan. And let me just tell you, the group pages are blowing up. They want to fire Howie. They want to get rid of him. They're so mad. So obviously that's a great addition to the team. I'm sure you're probably pretty excited. He's definitely an animated character.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I met him yesterday, did a quick interview with him, and he just seems like really going to be able to fit in. Sean McVay likes these personalities on the team. I think, honestly, what's good about him is he sort of empowers all the people around him to kind of be themselves, but like that's kind of the beauty of teamwork makes the dream work kind of thing. So like he empowers someone like Wade Phillips is very different from him, and yet it works so well. So I think bringing a guy like Jalen in, you could tell he's just sort of a winner. He was eating tacos when he got the phone call. Tacos in LA, so it's kind of we're ready. Like that's kind of the picture of like, you know what, this is going to be good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, so let's just kind of jump right into your story. Tell us a little bit about how you got into your current position. Tell us about how you kind of I know you went overseas and you were doing some things in London, and why don't you kind of pick it up from there and tell us exactly how your career got started?
Yeah, so in 2008 when I graduated from Syracuse, the market crashed. Like, it was bad. And even prior to that, I would say my career started on my couch in the Bronx when I was 5 years old, really
Nice.
Early, blossoming child from the Bronx. But I was sitting on the couch, and my parents were always just like, hey, you're not allowed to watch too much TV. Like, you got to go play with your Legos and figure out something else to do.
Yep.
We lived in a one-bedroom apartment in the Bronx, and there were 4 of us. And so it was like really not that much space, but I remember I always was attracted to television. I thought it was like a fascinating vehicle. And this was the time when like you had to go to the TV and turn the knob. Like,
yeah, yep.
Like, I know that time.
Oh, I know
and,
those
like,
days. Yep.
Yeah. So at that time, I remember it was like Saturday morning cartoons, and the Sunday morning cartoons. And so I'd get to watch that, wake up early, watch that sucker on the couch. And then I sort of had to shift back to like my bedroom or figure out a puzzle or something to do.
Yeah.
And I remember that's usually when my dad would shift. It was always like, high volume traffic, right? When there was a changing of the channels, and he would put on the Yankee game, like 1:00 Yankee game. And I was just like, what if I just sat here, Mom, like hanging out with my dad? No one's going to tell me anything. So I was just like, I'm going to sit here one day, real wise 5-year-old child. And I was just like, let me just watch this game, because then I get to watch more television.
Yep.
So he's like, you want to watch this? And I was like, I want to watch it. And I'm like, what's that white thing? And he goes, oh, that's a base. That's a base. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, who's that guy? And he's like, oh, that's Don Mattingly. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I just start asking random questions at 5 years. By the time I'm like 6, 7, 8, I'm one of those kids who's like, hey, like the party trick. Check out my daughter. She can list the entire Yankees batting lineup and all of their batting averages.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so, came that, and then my dad was like, I should put her in baseball, maybe that seems logical. So then he puts me on a baseball field, and the rest is history. I put on a uniform when I was 8 years old, and I was on the all-star team. I just became addicted to the game of baseball. I was actually talking to one of the guys who plays on the football team here for the Rams, Nikel Roby Coleman, and he was just like, I don't understand why women aren't allowed to play baseball. Like, you're not hitting them. Like, there's really no contact.
Yeah.
Like, if you're making the team, you should play.
Exactly.
Like, I was like, amen, brother. So
you were the original Monet Davis, right?
Where was the social media back then?
I know.
So yeah, I mean, I played baseball till I was 18 years old in the Bronx. I played in the same league as Danny Almonte, but it was sort of like one of those things where no one really questioned me because I was always part of the picture.
Yeah.
So no one knew anything different. So it was like, oh yeah, she can play baseball. She should be fine. Like, it's okay. We've seen her play baseball this whole time. So I was always in a league, but like very elite baseball players came out of there. Outside of Danny Almonte, there's a couple guys in the majors, and then a couple guys who played in the minor leagues, still baseball coaches. So I was in a place that was protected. Guys really, respected me over time. But yeah, I never knew anything else other than this is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I should go to a good journalism school and play baseball and or not play baseball, but like be a sports reporter. So I decide to go to Syracuse. I figure, they got some good names out of there, but like coming from the Bronx.
Yeah, going to Syracuse from the Bronx, that had to have been a tough transition, huh?
A huge culture shock. And I say this as, I really didn't know. It's kind of like, and I hate to make this comparison, but when Cardi B hit the market recently,
yeah.
Everyone was like, what in the world is happening? When J-Lo hit the market, it was like, oh, there are people out there that kind of talk like this and look like this, and we haven't really experienced that before.
Yeah.
And here I'm going to Syracuse, and like, I'm a fair looking Puerto Rican Colombian, so guys would always be like, what's up, white girl? And I'm like, what's up? And I had no idea what anyone was talking about. Like, yeah, totally, I guess I'm a white girl, and then I was like, oh, I am not a white girl. This is it was just beyond overwhelming. I'm in Newhouse classes. I don't even get into Newhouse immediately. Later to find out I'm dyslexic. So that was certainly something to find out when I'm anchoring SportsCenter nonetheless.
Yeah.
But so my whole life I've been dyslexic. I come from the Bronx where maybe, we've got overcrowded, classrooms. And
it's easy to get lost. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And it's, I was always working hard, and I always was very grateful. And my mom being a teacher and my dad who wanted to be a teacher, like they always put education at the top of the list. So I always worked hard, and I always had a certain, background of like, hey, we got to do this. But I never really thought of myself as like someone who could do anything. I always had sports. So I was kind of like, I guess I should do journalism.
Yeah.
So I go to Syracuse. They had won the national championship in 2003. It was the hardest freaking year to get into Syracuse.
Yeah.
Because everyone, I want to go to Syracuse because they won the national championship. And I'm just like, I think there's a good journalism program there. I don't get in because it's the hardest school. I test terribly on the SATs. So I write an essay. I get into Syracuse general admission. And then I transfer in. You have to get a 3.738 to transfer in my freshman year. I'm like, okay, if I'm going to do this, we're going in. So I get into Newhouse, and again, my accent, I look different. Everything is sort of, I'm an awkward, ugly duckling, to say the least. And my professors are like, hey, you got to lose your accent, and you're not going to get a job in Albuquerque sounding like that.
Yeah, right.
It was a tough time, and my professor was like, your writing level isn't college level, right? I mean, I really was like, what am I doing here? This is bad. So, but my mom and dad were like, you don't have to stay, you don't have to be there. And I was like, hell no, I just got through all of my life playing baseball and getting the criticism, outside, inside. I'm awkward because I'm a woman playing baseball. And then I get to Syracuse, and I'm like not the person I thought I was. And now I'm changing again, and I'm like, no, I need to stay here. These guys are successful. I'm going to
you got to figure it out. Yep.
And so I'm like, I'm going to do this. And then you graduate, and at that time, everyone who graduated from college in general got a job. Everyone got a job at a college. And so 2008 was that smack in the face, oh no, you're not getting a job. And I was like, hold on a second. What is that? To Syracuse, I'm paying $1 gajillion in loans at some point in my life, which now I am.
Yep.
And I'm promised this sort of expectation of a future, a successful future if you go to this school, right? It's not like I went to a community college or whatever. Not that that's not going to promise you anything, but if Mike Tirico and Bob Costas and Beth Mowens are graduating from Syracuse and having their success story, then I should have a very small smidgen of a job. Right?
Yeah, just a job to get your foot in the door and be able to work your way up, right?
Absolutely. So I graduate, and there is no job. And I come home to the Bronx with a beat-up Saturn that's overheating on the highway.
But you could punch it, though. You could punch it, and it would flex. Right, I had one of those, too, right? It was like, yeah, check out my Saturn. Look what it can do. I could punch it, and it flex, right?
That's basically what everyone was doing. They were punching. Yeah, I'm still this old time. They're like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Are you still going to work, or are you going to fall apart?
Yeah, you were like Saturn. You were like the plastic, just taking it and bending, right?
I was. And I was like, I guess I have to keep, chugging along here. So I was waitressing on 42nd Street, Grand Central Station, this restaurant called Pershing Square. You take, the Metro North in, there's the 4 train and the 1 train over the D train. And I'm like, taking in all of these successful business guys, and I'm waiting tables, and I'm like, this is the most miserable thing I could possibly do with my journalism degree. I should probably not be doing this. So I applied to a job to teach English in Seoul, Korea, and my mentor, and I had studied abroad in London, and he was just like, I feel like that's not your groove. I feel like you've just done a lot. Your brain is not meant to take these sorts of, minimal, here it's handed to you, set up situations. You need a challenge. And I'm like, do I need a challenge? I think my life has been challenging enough, but sure. What is that for me, mentor of mine? Yeah. Good old Harold Samara. And so I was just like, what do you think? He's like, why don't you just go to London, travel, see what happens, And I was like, I guess I could do that. All right. Well, sure. So
I love your whole story up to this point, but this is the point that I really love. This part right here on how you went out there and what you told your family and everything. I think it's really amazing. So go ahead.
So I'm like, all right, then I'm gonna go to London. And when you go over, you go overseas or anything, this is not the key. You want to have a plan, but I had no plan, and that was fine to an extent. But I buy a one-way ticket. I tell my mother, I'm like, listen, I gotta get out of America. This is not working for me. And she's like, I get it. Go do something. There are no jobs in America, so of course go find a harder place to find a job.
Yeah.
All my family's like, you ain't gonna find a job. What are you doing? That's so stupid. Just keep waitressing. You're gonna be good. And I'm just like, nah, I really need to figure something out. So I lied to my family. It was like one day I was so tired of being criticized for being like, I'm going to travel overseas. I'm going to figure stuff out. And my family is just like, nah, what are you going to do? And I was just like, I have a job. So you can all just stop critiquing my life.
Yeah. Get off my back.
Where'd the chick from the Bronx get a job from? And I'm like, at a production agency, guys. You guys are all fools. And they were like, whoa, where did you get this? I was like, I got connects. I went to
now you're just grabbing. Yep.
And I'm like, and they're like, oh, really? What's the company? And I was like, I'll send you an email. Don't worry about it. And so I'm like, Google, what do we got? Production, creative, London, first company that comes up, Addiction London. And I'm like, this is where I'm working. And they're just like, oh, well, what a funny, that's the most amazing thing I've ever heard. And I was just like, yeah, it is. So I'm out. And these guys, the Morales family throws this huge going away party for me. And I'm like, oh no, please don't attract attention to this. Like, please don't do any of this. And I was just, this is a problem. So I go overseas. I have the biggest guilt trip of my life, and I'm just traveling, and I'm not thinking anything of it. And I couldn't get a job overseas like very easy. I'm thinking like off the books, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And so I end up reaching out to Addiction London because I had maybe a couple glasses of wine, nothing crazy, but I had a couple glasses of wine, and I was just like, hey, let me find who works at Addiction London. So I go on Facebook and I find the CEO of Addiction London, and his name's Jeremy. And I send this man a Facebook message. I'm like, hey, Jeremy, Sarina Morales here. I'm a young reporter, producer from New York City. And I think, your company looks awesome. I would love to connect while I'm traveling out here. And a month later, he writes me back. And he was just like, you know what, Serena, you could be some use to me. And I'm like, this is insane. So
That's
at
awesome.
that time, fast forward, I'm bartending in a pub in London. I end up getting like a random job overseas, and this guy reaches out to me, and so I go and I meet with them. And I'm like, this is kind of crazy because I made this company up in sense.
Yep.
And he's like, hey, like, what are you doing out here? Da da da. And I was just like, yeah, I'm just traveling, whatever. And he was just like, look, I'm trying to start a company in New York City. Do you have any contacts? I'm like, bro, I got all the contacts.
Yeah, I'm the hookup. I'm your plug. 100%.
I got what you need. Like, so,
Yep.
And it's like 917 numbers. I'm like, yeah, that's the way to go.
718-917. Yep.
So I go and I have this great I go over and I have this great conversation with Jeremy, and he's just like, okay, why don't we like figure something out? Like, if you can help me here, then I will help you, whatever you need in London. So I was like, okay, perfect. So I end up being employee of the month for these guys. I am I start their softball team. I'm just freelancing for them, and the sort of lie that I created became true.
Became reality. That's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm there in London, and I'm having a great time. And that's kind of, again, how my story shifts to present day. I leave London, and I'm just sort of like, I didn't leave like in any certain form, but I just didn't want to leave. And then I get back to America, and I don't have a job, and I sort of had to reset this situation of being jobless again. And so I get back, and there was this Nike field reporter contest, and so I apply, and I'm thinking, when you send those videos over, like, everyone's doing the same thing, like, hi, I'm Joe Schmo, and I'm gonna be the best because I talk like this, and I've done all these
the radio voice. Yep.
Absolutely. And so I'm just like, I can't do that because, one, that's not me, but two, what can I do to stand out from the mix? So I send in a video for Nike, and I'm just like, hey, I'm Sarina Morales, and you shouldn't hire me because, I can play. I was a baseball player for 10 years, and because I went to Newhouse, you shouldn't hire me because of that. You should hire me because if you don't, I'm going to be selling Reeboks at Foot Locker. The job, they're just like, this is genius. And so at 24 years old, I'm interviewing now Serena Williams and LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony. I go to the Winter Games in Vancouver.
Awesome.
It was sort of like this, like, okay, Serena's back in the mix. I can, get myself a career and do great things. The thing is, like, the market really didn't change much after the year that I was working at Nike. Things were shifting a little bit, but it was still very hard to find a job. News channel, the local news, Channel 12 in the Bronx, They didn't want to hire me because they were like, this is weird that you were interviewing like these top name athletes and now you want to come to the Bronx.
Oh, now they're like, oh, you're too good for us. You've done these. Yeah.
So hard to get a job. And I was just like, guys, my dad worked for the projects. I went to public school in the Bronx. My mom is a public school teacher in the Bronx. You can't find a better person to be a reporter than me in the Bronx. Like, I can cover sports, I can cover politics, the school system, the project. Like, you tell me what, I'm gonna figure it out.
Jenny from the block.
Yeah.
100% is Serena from the block. They need like a new, like Jenny's,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, but so I go through that, and so I end up taking random jobs. I'm like freelancing for Verizon Files, interviewing high school kids. I'm working at an investment bank, which was hilarious because I worked at an investment bank for a year and a half, 2 years, and it was actually a great job because it was steady money. And I was so bored at the job because I was just basically managing people's calendars. But all these guys are like, whoa, you know all these things about sports because, you do small talk.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and they're like, what are you doing working here? So then they were trying to help me find connections at the New York Times. I interviewed at the New York Times when I was at the investment bank. I would take like long lunches and they were so supportive there. I ran the New York City Marathon during that time because I was bored. Like, I might as well train to do something else with my time.
Might as well be in good shape, right? Marathon shape.
Exactly. So I do that. And then, but I really missed being in the media. So I ended up getting a job. I took a huge pay cut. And I applied for a job at Turner. I got a job at True TV. I was working on this show, Impractical Jokers.
Oh, yeah, we love that show. Those guys are great.
So I go from Impractical Jokers, end up going from there to National Geographic. A guy that I worked with at Turner at Impractical Jokers went and became a VP at National Geographic in DC, and I just hit him up because we were both Yankee fans. I would actually sneak into his office, like, the afternoon Yankee games. I'm still at work, and so I'd be like, yo, hey, the ninth inning is like, let's put this game on. He had a TV in his office. He's like, I got you.
Yeah.
So he's like, you're such a big sports fan. I was like, oh my God, I used to work at Nike. I give him the story. And he was just like, oh man, like, well, like, let me know if I can help you with anything career-wise, whatever. And I was like, it's all good. Like, I think I'm going to say goodbye to my sports reporting days. Like, I really haven't been able to get there. Like, I don't even know how to get an agent. I don't know how to do any of these things. So like, from the Bronx, like, my mom is just like, I don't know, just like show your face. Like, there's really no. So all that said, I end up going to work for Hayes at National Geographic because he was just like, listen, I think your skill sets would be really good as a social media manager here. And if you want to be on camera, we can figure things out. I think your creativity would work well. And so, keep writing. And also, like, because you came from a sports background, I think it would be great to have you, think of new ways to, like, manage our social media. Like, no one's really thinking outside the box here. Let's give it a personality.
Yeah, and you definitely did that too.
It's so I would, when the Chicago Bears are playing, Sunday Night Football, and I'm seeing them not play well, I tweet out from the Nat Geo Wild Twitter account, like, hey, the @Chicago Bears aren't playing well, but we've got real Bears playing well on @Nat Geo Wild. Come check it out.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what can we do? So it was great because it did get to utilize my skill sets and what I had been doing in the past, but also kind of applying it. Hence, I was able to have a lot of success in the year that I was at National Geographic. I did one on-camera video for Nat Geo. It was some random like expedition, send in a video application and
your specialty. Yep.
Right. I did the video to have applicants send their videos in, and that video I just posted on YouTube. I'm not thinking anything of anything, but I posted on YouTube, and lo and behold, Rob King, the Sports Center, sees this video. It had 100 views, maybe tops. Like 99 of those views are my mom's, and one video that the one view was Rob King, and I had talked to ESPN in the past, like nothing, again, I'm a schmoozer. I'm like, hey, like, nice to meet you. I had started the National Association of Hispanic Journalists group chapter at Syracuse. So like we got to go to like conventions and stuff. And I was always shaking hands with people at ESPN especially, but nothing really came to fruition. I went to ESPN as the Nike field reporter and did some interviews there. But like, again, I had no expectations of anything. all that said, they remembered me, or I was in a file system somewhere, and so Rob King sends me an email. I would like to bring you up and talk to us, and
Yeah.
I think you could, again, sort of this Addiction London thing, like, I think you could be some use to us. And I was
Yeah.
like, sorry, what? I've literally thought like taking a job at National Geographic would be the end all of my sports reporting, and it ends up being the beginning of my sports
Yeah, it
reporting.
launched you into it. Yep.
And Rob King brought me up, and he's just like, I'm just trying to change how we do things and how we story tell, and your background of social media and sports reporting, you go to Newhouse, you're traveling, the whole thing, I think is really what we are looking for. And so I will always and forever be grateful for Rob King, because I did 2 interviews with ESPN, and they hired me. And a year later, I am anchoring and launching the new Sports Center AM, which is now Get Up. But at the time, they took a chance on a girl from the Bronx who had never had live network television experience ever.
Yeah.
And the first time I am on live network.
And then this is where you found out that you had that you were dyslexic, correct?
100%.
Because you obviously reading from the teleprompters and everything like that. So
that's kind of how things went, and none of it makes sense, but it was sort of like I was ready. Like, I was always ready to, like, whether I was in shape, because I'm training for the New York City Marathon. So they were like, oh yeah, it's like, she seems like she's in shape. She can do this or whatever it was. I sort of always had something where I was like, okay, this opportunity kind of helped me get here. And so, yeah, I'm the team reporter for a football team.
Who were some of the, I mean, I know, like, I remember seeing you on SportsCenter and stuff. You definitely brought a different angle, and you were definitely funny, and I loved it. I thought it was great. Who were some of the people that you got to know, and that that helped you with inside of that part with inside of SportsCenter? Like, besides Rob King, obviously some of the on-air people. I'm sure there were producers. I'm sure there were a lot of people that you made great relationships with. So who were some of those people that that you had good relationships with?
All of the anchors that I worked with were really supportive, and they all taught me something else. And it was great because we had a very diverse group: Jamie Sire, Jay Harris, and Kevin Nagandi, and Randy Scott. And they were all very different, including me. And so I've always thought, again, when you talk about even working for the Rams here, and Sean McVay sort of empowering, like, hey, Wade Phillips, you're very good at defense. I'm gonna empower you to take care of that. And we're going to bring in a guy like Jalen Ramsey. He's a very good cornerback. We're going to bring him in and let him do that, right? And so, for me, I was grateful because they brought me in and they were just like, hey, you're good at the thing that I'm good at, which to me, I'm still trying to figure out. Like, I have my personality, but I don't know if that's like a skill. Like, I don't know if that's, you put that on the resume, like, you got a good personality.
Yeah. Great personality. I can kill it doing funny bits. That's what I do.
Crazy. So, but so Jay Harris always taught me how to be smooth in my deliveries. I think, like, he was like, you already have this, so let me help you with everything else. No one on SportsCenter, I mean, to this day, I didn't tell anyone except the researchers on set that I was dyslexic. I never told them. I mean, now that I've left, I have no problem sharing the secret because it's not affecting me. But I never wanted to say, like, oh, this is gonna, like, keep me from being able to do my job. So, I mean, there were days where I would tweak the script and make things caps and do spaces. And, like, if I ever had to read Giannis Antetokounmpo's name on a teleprompter, I would I'd be like, well, I don't know what that is. But I know his name. So it's kind of funny because
you were just like the Greek freak. Just call him the Greek freak. That's what most people do.
Just write Giannis, and then I would, like, put dashes and then finish. But I knew to say Giannis Antetokounmpo, and the dashes would give me the space to say it before teleprompter would roll. So, like, I just kind of created cheats for myself. But, like,
that's
M's
awesome.
They all kind of mix up. But to that point, like, literally everyone. I mean, I always say this to younger people who are looking to, like, be successful. Find one or two people that you, like, are top dog, like, oh my gosh, you're the most incredible person. And for me, it's always been watching Mike Tirico, who was a Syracuse alum and a mentor of mine, and late night television hosts. And I think that's kind of where my skill set sort of, like, put together.
Yeah.
I would like to be a polished, can do anything, throw me in any sport, I'll be able to cover it and figure it out. But also I want to make the people that I'm interviewing as comfortable as possible, and I want to ask them things that people aren't really thinking about, or like it's a bit more of an improv situation, and I get laughs out of them and stuff. And I think that's kind of, if you had to describe where I sit now, is like I'm a middle between like a Mike Tirico, Bob Costas, and like Jimmy Kimmel, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm just kind of.
And it's funny because your background kind of, with Impractical Jokers and seeing those guys and the improv from that and everything else, it kind of all came together, to create that, that look for you and stuff. And I think it's awesome. And I think it's amazing how you were able to, to overcome that disability and work through it, because that's what it's all about. Like, but it was crazy that you found it out while you were, while you were in the biggest point of your career,
You literally, you fake it till you make it. I mean, there is, when you are live and you are ready to mess up, there is nothing bigger than that rush to be like, Morales, you better figure this out in 1 second, because someone is going to pull you off, and there's so many better people than you that can do this. So you need to prove why you have been given this opportunity. And so that living out of fear has been a reason for my success, because I'm like, I have to be better. And I think been able to feel more comfortable about being different, because I think we try and create all these like prototype, people on camera, where now I'm like, no, I can be myself. Like, this is how I do things, and I'm more comfortable myself. But I mean, there is a key to having a good foundation. Like, I need to understand, the fundamentals of interviewing and storytelling, and where to put things, and not going backwards in chronological order and this, or like, oh, if he says this, I might ask this question and skip around, and those types of things that obviously you grow with experience. But yeah, I mean, it's insane, because when people are like, oh, so how do you get to SportsCenter? I'm like, I really don't.
Yeah.
I have
it
no
wasn't
idea.
a straight path. It was however you had to get there. London, New York City Marathon, New Britain. So then tell us how you transitioned from ESPN into, I mean, the Rams was the next position after that, correct?
Yeah. So the ESPN layoffs that took place.
Yeah, that was big. Yep.
Public, and Jamie Sire was, I remember we finished SportsCenter that day, and Jamie Sire, I remember so clearly, I was asking her about donuts. I'm allergic to wheat and dairy and eggs, so I can't eat donuts very often unless you have a vegan, gluten-free donut, which you recommend eating. But please, to all of those that want to give me a donut, like I will create, if you could create a donut for me that I can eat, I will eat it every day.
Yeah, right.
But I'm talking about donuts, and we were getting our mic packs off of our backs, and I remember Ed Werder had already been laid off during our live show, and so that the news started to break, and I was like, this is an uncomfortable day. And we were all kind of knew that it was going to happen, but we were all just waiting. And so when it started to happen, Jamie, I remember, looked at her phone and got a call from our boss, and she was like, oh no. And she looked at me, and her face was just so blank. And I was like, okay, I'm holding your hand. Like literally her mic pack just came off. We were still dressed and everything. And she gets the call, and he's like, hey, can you come to this random meeting place? And I'm like, oh man, this is happening. So talk with her over. I don't even know if I'm getting laid off that day. Like, I don't know anything, but I'm like, all right, Jamie, like, I'll just come with you. So I walk with her, and she gets put in a room, and they sort of tried to make it as like informal as possible, but like, it was like, here, I don't want to talk to you. Like, our boss had nothing, like, didn't want to do this. Like,
it's got to be tough. Yeah.
And so I just stood outside the office while she got laid off. And then I was like, oh, this is bad. And I didn't get laid off, but my contract was ending at the end of the year. And so thankfully, again, sort of trying to figure out the jack of all trades before they did not pick up my contract. I was doing features and doing some like outside work, but they changed SportsCenter completely at that point.
Yeah, they switched everything up. Yep.
Literally, we're just like, Serena, don't come in tomorrow. Take a day, and then we'll figure out how to utilize you moving forward. And I was like, okay. So then they kind of had me on the weekend sports centers doing things and whatnot. But yeah, so when my contract when they told me, you got 90 days, we're not, picking up your contract, I sort of like had a mental, like, it was just like,
Yeah, it's got to be tough. Yeah.
And
you're
I
like,
think,
I made it. And then you're like, oh, wait, then this is another setback for me now. So.
yeah. And I think, you think about like coaches being laid off and stuff like that. We're always just like, oh, you should be laid off. But when you think about how hard it is for you to go from a 1-bedroom apartment in the Bronx and really not understanding that there's anything bigger than that because it's all like literally and figuratively speaking, I didn't know that like you could have anything more, right? And then as I continue to grow experience, and now I'm just like, oh, I mean, I didn't even know that I could ever be on network television without, knowing someone or having a connection. I didn't even know that was possible. Yeah. And then I get to my dream job, and I'm, in my early 30s, and I'm like, wow, I checked that off the bucket list. Like, that's insane. And so it was kind of a really deep fall. And then it was a moment of like, okay, let me reevaluate my dreams because I checked a dream off my list. So let me think of like a new dream to have and what that looks like. And so I went overseas. I seem to go overseas.
Yeah, it seems like where you go. It's a lot of thinking over there overseas, right, for you?
So I go to Bali and Singapore as sort of an eat, pray, love moment. And I end up getting dengue fever in Indonesia. I'm by myself. God. Yeah, it was the scariest thing in the universe because I had to basically be hospitalized, and I was sort of like putting on my Instagram, hey, like kind of waving a white flag, like I don't know if I called my mom, I don't know who I called, but I imagine it was. Yeah, I'm not trying to just keep my eyes open. To be quite honest, I was like, if I close my eyes, I don't think my eyes will open again. Like it was pretty. Yeah. I mean, when I in the emergency room, I think I had like a 104, 106 fever. I was bleeding from my nose. Wow. And it was a really tough time. So I'm just like, I lose my job at ESPN, and now I've got to, figure out my next sort of life, and I'm dying in an emergency room that I don't know if I'm going to get back. So so I go from that to basically I come home, I'm auditioning everywhere at MLB Network and Sports Illustrated. Like literally I'm trying to do everything possible. And I ended up taking a job with a startup company before I got the Rams job. Okay. And the startup company, I won't even give them a shout out, but like they were not paying, they didn't pay me. So I ended up, there was like a very crazy lapse of where I was like, oh no, I have no job and no money or anything. I had gotten an apartment in Brooklyn. I had just been like, okay, I'm going to work for this startup company, and I'm going to live in Brooklyn. And I sort of like started to reevaluate my life. And then I applied. Thankfully, the Rams job was open, and they were like, hey, do you want to interview? And I was like, I mean, I guess so. I just moved into apartment, and like I had boxes that were not like unpacked.
Still unpacked, yeah. You've yet to even hang your Don Manningly jersey on the on the wall yet.
Yes, and I remember I did a Skype call with someone from the Rams, and I was putting the laptop on a box, and I was sitting on another box of stuff because I didn't have chairs. I hadn't moved in at all. Yeah, yep. I was there a week, and then I was freelancing for the NCAA tournament. But this startup company was like, yeah, like we're cool with you, like looking for other opportunities. Probably because they didn't realize that they couldn't pay me, like, or they were going to tell me that. But so I thankfully I audition and I get the Rams job, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm now moving. I was in my apartment for a month in Brooklyn, and move out to LA, and the startup company falls apart, and so I was really depending on having two salaries, and I went back to having one. So I'm really thankful that I had this job lined up. But
yeah, man, and what are some of the things that you do for the Rams? Because I know that you do. You have the podcast. I know Chase mentioned some of the things, and because I just by talking to you and kind of getting to know you, whatever the position was, I'm sure you've added some things to it, right?
Yeah. I hold on one. Oh, people are. Oops. Okay, people can hear me through the walls right now.
Okay.
I'm like, I'm talking so loud. So I go and sorry, they're throwing me off because everyone's like, Serena,
That's
we can
okay.
hear.
That's all right.
We I'm like, here's my inside voice. We yeah, started working for the Rams. Like, again, most people are like, oh, you're a team reporter, whatever. I ended up having like the best experience because they were like, listen, we want to have you use your personality more. Like, I think, you can be a great asset here. So I was doing Keys to Victory last year, which was video stuff. I mean, they used me in stadium for the entertainment, like video board. And that's like actually the weirdest part of working for a football team when they have you do video board, because again, no one teaches you at Newhouse, like, hey, you're going to hear feedback in your ear and you're going to 70,000 people and do an interview, and for someone who's not used to being on camera too. So those things were really hard. But it's been great. I mean, I really, really, really love the fact that, like, again, I get to see these guys every day. Being around guys like Aaron Donald is such a blessing because you watch him and he's such a great leader, and Sean McVay and Wade Phillips. And now I have my podcast. I do Q&As where I just kind of transcribe like random questions, both football and non-football related, because I think, when we talk about sports broadcasting, I think the key is, or in sports in general, these guys, like me, right? You're asking me my story. I am more than a sports reporter. I have a story of why I became a sports reporter.
Yeah,
and
they
all
do
that.
too, right? Yeah, I mean, yep.
So you're missing half the story if you're not asking those questions about what's going on outside of their lives. And, did Jalen Ramsey, finish his taco on Taco Tuesday when he got the call? Like, I think those things are all sort of part of a bigger picture. And so we're only telling part of the picture when you're a sports reporter and you're not really getting, both their lives on and off the field. So
yeah.
It's been great, but I'm doing a lot of that. I help the social media group out with, getting some of that content. And so
you're like, let's go to Nat Geo and get some pictures of some Rams. And
did you get to go to the Super Bowl last year?
I did. I went to the Super Bowl last year, and that was crazy. It was crazy too because one, I had never gone to a Super Bowl, but neither had some of the guys. So
so you guys all got to experience it together, because I know it was a pretty young team, right? I mean, from McVay being
Brand
a
new
young
team.
coach to
So we're all sort of like, huh, what's happening here? And like, I knew about the Super Bowl from an outside perspective, being in like media and stuff like that. Like, I understood that, but I didn't really understand like all of what that meant in the week and the crazy media frenzy.
Yeah.
So covering that was very cool experience for me, but it was also very cool to watch, these guys that I've spent an entire season with. And when you're here at a practice facility every single day, there are things that you're just like, oh, those are like, that's your family now.
Yeah. Yep. I can tell by watching your stories and seeing, your Instagram stories and stuff. You're just like, it goes back to that same thing with the investment firm. You know what I mean? You know about all the sports. You get that camaraderie with the guys, and they're just like, wow, she really knows her shit. You know what I mean? So it's pretty neat.
It is a family, but it's also like, how you carry yourself. I mean, they're all like texting me right now, like, yo, we can all hear you tell your story. And I'm like,
you should tell them that. You should be like, listen, I'm a Puerto Rican Colombian from the Bronx. All right. I talk loud. It's what I do. All right. You guys know this about me already.
So are you Jets or Giants then?
I'm Rams right now, but
she's Rams.
Well, I know that, but you're
yeah.
going to be Rams. But when you growing up, did you have a passion for football at all? Did you keep up with the Jets or the Giants or?
Yeah, I mean, I will never forget the David Tyree catch
on the helmet
when I was a senior at Syracuse, and I mean, I'll be quite honest, football was, when you do the top three, baseball, basketball, football was the bottom. I was always a baseball player, so like that's been my bread and butter. Although funny enough, I've never covered baseball, even though that is the sport that I know the most about. I've never really covered that in any capacity of like.
Yeah, that's your go-to, and that's the thing you haven't covered. That's pretty funny, right?
Basketball, I grew up. I loved college basketball. I mean, I loved Syracuse basketball even before I went there. So like the NCAA tournament is my favorite time of year. I love March Madness. That is my favorite thing. I grew up a Knicks fan. And so unfortunately, but I love my dad's favorite sport is basketball, so he was always like, "Oh, I wish you played basketball," which I did. I played in high school, but I was way better at baseball, and so football was always like, yes, it was sort of like if you liked the other two, then you would like football, and so I watched it, but for the most part, like it was the last on my list of things to cover. So it's been an interesting experience for me. One, I mean, even the guy who was texting me, who's a scout here, I asked him last year when I came in to cover the Rams, I was like, look, I really want to get to know the X's and O's of this game. Can you help me? And he would sit with me and watch film with me.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're watching film. Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. I mean, you want to learn as much as you can to be as knowledgeable as you can. For when you get in the booth up there to call the games.
But so I think that's kind of been a great asset for me because I was able to learn via a team like this who is has great people on the team but also around it. So like again a scout like this who was like a former NFL quarterback, and he played for the Jets. He's backup quarterback for the Jets. But
who is that?
I'm learning from Torrey Woodbury.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, shout out to
Wood. Torrey, yeah.
But
funny story about Syracuse. I went there for their basketball camp, for Jim Boeheim's basketball camp one time. And those stairs from that one dorm, I guess it's probably like those stairs, like we used to have to go back and forth multiple times to the Carrier Dome. I'm like, these stairs are unbelievable. Like that was quite the workout.
I hurt my back my freshman year racing a kid who was on the track team at Syracuse because I was an idiot. And so I would stairs and I actually threw out my back. I actually became really good friends with a running back who played for Syracuse for a couple years, and he transferred to Delaware. This guy, Kareem White, oh God, what was his last name? I'm even blanking. But Kareem, I was walking so slowly into a class my freshman year because I had thrown out my back.
Yeah.
And I was wearing sweatpants and a hoodie. And he was like, do you play on like one of the teams here at Syracuse? And I was just like, no. And he goes, you're walking very slowly and you look like you're.
Yeah, I had a real competitive race.
And Kareem ended up helping me. I ended up tutoring the athletes. He was like, you're really smart. You should tutor the athletes since you were an athlete, not playing for any sports here. But so I ended up tutoring the athletes at Syracuse. One, because I just ended up making friends with a lot of the guys on the team. So. And
how big is the Carrier Dome? I think they had it was almost 30 basketball courts that they were able to put inside of the Carrier Dome from when I went there for camp. I mean, because it's so gigantic, when you open that thing up. I mean, they only use half of it when they play basketball, right? Don't they cut off some of it?
Yeah, it's weird.
It's
they
gigantic.
definitely
They need a new stadium.
Yeah. They do. But I think they're working on things. But they split it in half, and it's super weird because if you go to like a Duke game or a UNC game or like a big rival game. The guys all the way on the top are like literally I don't even know how that view works.
How you can even see, yeah.
It's there because
it's one of those old school stadiums. You know what I mean? They're like, we're gonna build this thing once and we're gonna build it huge. So, but listen, we got to wrap up, and I know that you got to get back to work. You got to go tell those people. Listen, I'm loud. That's what I am. All right. So,
guys.
Listen, when you come back, when the season's over, and you come back to, check on your apartment that you're subleasing. No, I'm just kidding. I know that's probably all done. We'd love to connect with you and meet you in person. Obviously, you have a great story. It's really amazing to hear stories like this. And it's kind of what our show is all about. So we would love to, to connect with you when you come back and obviously continue to further our relationship.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. Thank you for listening and for making everyone else listen here too.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, good luck with the season. Good luck with your new guy out there. Hopefully, did he show up in the Brinks truck or no? He didn't show up in the Brinks truck. Brinks truck's coming soon though. I hear they're working on the Brinks truck. It's coming soon. Working on that long-term deal.
Yeah. Well, I have no word yet, but hopefully I will be one of the first to find that out.
Should be any day, I'm sure. So. Serena, thank you so much for joining us, and we're going to keep following you, and good luck this season with the Rams.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Serena.
All right, so that was Sarina Morales. Amazing story. I've been wanting to get her on for a long time. Our producer here, Tori, say hello.
Hi, guys.
Was able to actually get her on, which was awesome. I think it might be the Puerto Rican thing. I don't know. Maybe she knows the Puerto Rican thing, I think.
Right.
I don't know. So, but yeah, that was awesome, man. What do you think, Chase?
I love her.
Yeah.
She's great.
What a
I
story.
love, dude, her story, like,
I told you.
unbelievable.
It was funny because Chase said to me, he's like, I don't know anything about this woman before the show. And I knew
there's
you were
no
gonna
way
love her
you
story.
could have told me
No,
her story
no.
and been accurate
Yeah,
with it. Like,
it
so
was
many
great.
things happen. She's
I mean,
cool.
Yeah, she's cool as shit.
very
I
cool.
can't wait to connect with her when she comes to
Love her.
comes
her.
to New York.
Big fan.
All right, so now, what time of the show is it, Chase? What time is it? Please tell the people what
Mack
time it is.
move or Wack move.
That is right. That's the part of our show where we have Tori read some topics that are going on within the business world, and we decide to vote whether it is a Mack move or a Wack move. Tori, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, topic number 1. Mattel releases their first gender-neutral doll called the Creatable World doll. So the doll can be either a boy, a girl, neither or both. The doll can transform and adapt according to the kid's every whim. And it comes resembling like a 7-year-old kid with short hair, but it also comes with a wig of long hair, a wardrobe of trendy clothing, including hoodies, sneakers, graphic t-shirts in gender-neutral colors, and also tutus and camo pants. So it's kind of like a create-your-own doll.
Chase, because this is such a hot topic, political thing, I'm going to put you out on the ledge and let you go ahead and go with this one first. Go ahead.
So the Mack move or Wack move is, what do I think this is a good idea for the company to have the doll, to create this doll, or is it like, would I use the doll? Would I give it to my kids?
No, it's. Do you think it's a good idea? No, you think it's a good idea for them to be doing this?
I just don't think that within that community of people that identify as that, I do think that mental illness is higher if I'm not. So I want to give my kids a chance to just have like regular lives, but I will love my kids regardless. So if that's what they want to play with, I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to be like, you know what I mean? So
Kobe, yeah, you were right with that one.
I'm middle of the road.
No, I hear what
hate
you're saying. Like maybe it's a little too young to be introducing that. I'm not
going to do
sure.
it personally, but if that's what they want to play with, I'm not going to say no. I love my kids. If I have kids, I don't. As have kids.
Always, whenever we, you got no babies.
No, no babies. So I don't know.
Whenever we go this route, I always like to kind of take the business angle, right? Because that's what we are. We're kind of a business podcast, and we're talking about it. Everybody's talking about it. So it's obviously a Mack move in my mind because they're making like a move that's putting them, regardless of if they sell a lot or not, people are going to talk about it, right? I don't think that people are going to ban them from it. You can't be like, oh, you're no longer going to, let your kid play with dolls.
I don't think they were the first to do this. I think Barbie did this like last year.
Well, Barbie is part of Mattel.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
So they're going to keep talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Tori, what do you got?
Cool.
I think it's a Mack move. It's kind of like, it reminds me of Choose Your Own Adventure.
Yep.
And you can have a boy or a girl doll, or you could just it changes on your mood, or
to be honest with you, as a parent, it's more cost effective, to be honest, because now you don't have to buy two. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you had $3 and you want two to be girls, one to be boy, or whatever you want to be, you could switch fluctuations. You know what I mean? So
sure.
What? Phone died? Yeah. Well, that's brutal. All right. Well, all right. So that one we did. We're going to go with topic number 2, Tori, that we can't see, but we can hear.
So topic number 2, Uber launches an Uber Works app to make it easier for people to find temporary shifts for work like bartending, warehouse work, and commercial cleaning. It'll help businesses increase staff during busy times and make scheduling more efficient for employers.
All right, so this is like gig work, meaning like you're not looking for long-time employment. It's more or less like
contract based.
Yeah, like this person called out, we need to find somebody tonight, go onto the Uber app and do it. Part of me wants to say, Uber, stay in your goddamn lane, like just stick to what you do. But then the other part of me is like, Uber, you got so much money, you can kind of do whatever the hell you want. So if there's a lot of money in this, then go for it. So 2 in a row, I'm going Mack move.
Yeah.
What do you got?
I mean, I think they're laying their chips out there because right now I think Uber's not having the best time. I think there's pushback in California against these ride-sharing apps. They're setting low. So they're kind of in some hot water, and they're just putting their chips out there. I don't see anything wrong with it. I think it's a Mack move.
Yeah.
I like it.
Tori.
Gig economy.
I'd say Mack move just because it sounds like they're throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what'll stick. If
And they got the
sticks,
money
great.
to do it. And they got the money to do it.
This is the gig economy, right?
Yeah.
That's what they're calling it. It's
Right.
like kids nowadays, they jump from job to job. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, cool. That was topic 2. Topic number 3.
So this is kind of a weird one. A London distillery called Glenlivet has created glassless cocktails, alcoholic capsules that resemble Tide Pods.
I don't know about this. It's
Business, from a business perspective, it's cheap, right? I mean, they're using seaweed.
I guess so.
And
but
you could
I
just
see
buy 'em
it
for $1
I
at
could
the
totally see these
counter.
these college kids just being like, "Bro, drop 20." It's just weird. Like I don't
Well,
know.
you
It just
can't
looks
stop
strange.
that. I
Yeah,
mean,
they're gonna
but
do that
you're
no
gonna
matter
do
what.
that no
I
matter
know.
what.
I know.
Take it to the max.
I don't know. It does look like a Tide Pod. I'm a little concerned being a dad about the safety issues behind this. I mean, if kids are eating Tide Pods, you know what I mean? Like, they're going to be eating this shit too, right? I mean,
Well, that's the point, right?
yeah, but not children.
Like little kids?
Yeah. Like, I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think they're gonna. I think they're.
I like the I
You
like
ever
that
had-
they're going for it.
Yeah.
I like
Alright.
that they're going for it.
Yeah. I'm going Mack move.
Yeah, I'll go Mack move too. I like that
Yeah.
they're going. It is kind of weird though. I don't think that. I mean, would you consume it?
I'll try it.
Hell yeah, you would. You'd bring a bag of those sons of bitches.
This is
into
where
the
I
movies
see
with
this
ya.
working. Okay, you're on the way to the bar and you're with your buddies in the back of an Uber, and you're like, "I got like 5 Tide Pods full of whiskey. Let's rip these before we go in." And that's like where it's like better than nips because you there's no
Yeah.
bottle to throw away.
Yeah,
it's
that's
better
true.
for the environment too. So
Airplanes, maybe it would work well on airplanes as well.
definitely,
Right? What do you think, Tori?
I love it.
Well, I was gonna go Wack move, but now I think you just changed my mind.
See that? I can do
Just
that.
ease like in Ubers, like
Well,
that really
we
I
changed
relate
our
to
mind,
that.
bro.
See that? My whole question is this though, like, if you get pulled over with that thing, is that like it's obviously not an open container? It's not like it's, you know what I mean? Like, you know, if you
No,
have
it's a
beer,
one and done. It's like
Yeah.
you can't. It's not open because
Yeah.
there's no opening it. You eat it.
We're like, bro, I got a bag of these babies. Let's go. But then also, you know, it really does kind of create a black market for this type of shit too, though, right? I mean, you know, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. All right, next topic.
All right, topic number 4. LeBron James makes comments in favor of the Chinese government following the controversy that arose when the Rockets GM tweeted in support of the Hong Kong protesters. The tweets ended up being taken down, but the Rockets lost several sponsorships, and China refused to broadcast 2 preseason games.
Did you know that the Rockets, I mean, of all teams to do this, right? If the guy that runs the Grizzlies did this, if that happened, or the guy that runs the Sixers did this, not a problem. You know why the problem is? That it's Houston. That's the most popular team in China because of your boy,
Yao Ming.
Yao Ming. Which, I'm going to be honest with you, where's that 7'7" mofo? Have you heard him make a statement?
No,
Can he make a statement, please?
I don't think he makes statements.
He needs to make a statement.
I don't think he makes.
Do they
statements.
not have a microphone that can reach
I
that
think
tall
he's
son
good.
bitch?
He's good. He's good.
He's
He
like,
doesn't
I'm
want it.
good.
Yeah.
I got nothing to do with this.
Yao Ming has never spoke. I've never heard Yao Ming talk. To be honest with you.
All right. Sorry to sidetrack us here, because this isn't about Yao Ming. This is about LeBron James.
What is the Mack move or Wack move? Can you ask?
Yeah,
can you
it's
describe
whether like like LeBron doing this. LeBron doing this. Like, do
Okay.
you think that it's a Wack move or a Mack move that he's doing this? Basically, do you think that, you know, when he talks about social issues that he talks about, which he does often, and I admire him for that, and I love that he does that, because, you know, he's using his platform, which he should be able to do. The only thing I will say where I come to his defense is the safety aspect. And that's what he should have been upset about. He should have been upset about the safety aspect. They were practicing and they had to shut their practice off so they could go on the field and sand down the logos to take, off the court. So they canceled their practice. They're out there practicing. And they're like, yeah, you guys got to get off the court because we have to sand these logos off because we don't even want your logos on when we do this game. That's how bad it was. So the safety issue behind it, I get. As far as him, financially, I think that's a total whack move. Like, how much money do you need, bro? And they're burning his jersey in Korea, in Hong Kong. So, sir,
I think it's bad for his brand both in the U.S. and in China. So it's a whack move.
Yeah. Yep. True that.
From a business perspective.
Tori.
I'm going to go Mack move on this.
Whoa.
From like a business standpoint, it sounds like he was kind of trying to mend severed ties with China. Like, I'm wondering if the NBA put him up to making that statement.
Well, no, because David Silver, the head of the NBA, the guy that runs it, the president, was actually there, and he wanted the players to actually stand up for their democracy and be their voice. And the players are like, we're not doing that. And he understood, okay, well, then you guys don't have to speak. My whole thing is this. I find the NBA at fault for this. I find, obviously not, I don't want to say the players, but, they're going to get paid when they get paid. But the thing is, like, the NBA, when you go into bed with with a dictatorship and you go into bed with this type of, what do you think is going to happen? Like, that's definitely is what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be issues like this. And,
I don't know if you could fault them for going into business with China. You have to go.
I'm just
They're
saying,
huge.
bro.
They're one of the biggest economies in the world.
I get it, but
I don't
you
think
have
you're
to
like NBA, shame on you for going in.
No, but I'm just saying
China,
when you do that, these type of things happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah. It's what
Well,
happens.
you take a chance when you go into business with someone. So.
Well, not just someone, but like a dictatorship. You know what I'm saying? Like the way that they are. Like, eventually those people are going to revolt. You should know that. Believe that. All right. Next topic.
So, fifth and final topic. This is my favorite. So the Calm app, which is like an app for like sleep and meditation help, partners with Room, a company that makes soundproof booths for private work in open offices, to create a $4,000 meditation booth to place in offices. The Calm booth is a standard room booth, complete with softer lighting, a soothing misty forest interior to create a soothing atmosphere.
Scott, you need this.
If we had this in the office, every 20 minutes, somebody would be like, yo, go in the booth, bro. Like, go in the booth and just chill. Like, get a rainforesty feeling. Like, just chill, bro. $4,000 seems like a lot. How about a beanbag and maybe some headphones? I don't know.
It's not the same, though.
Well, listen, I like the concept.
Beanbag and headphones.
I like
not
the concept.
Same as a foresty feel.
I feel that it's a little overpriced. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
You pay for quality. I mean,
and then
it's
what?
An immersive experience.
And then what? Like, I send you in there because, you're all upset about something, and then I walk in there and you're freaking scrolling through your Facebook? I'm not down with that. That's the problem. And that's why, as an employer, I'm going whack move on it, right? But a Mack move in my house. Mack move in my house. Whack move at the office. Chase.
For guys who, I don't have a 9-to-5 job. This job is my 24 hours around the clock.
Oh, yeah.
I'm always, eat, sleep, dream Mack Media Group.
He poos the double M.
All right. So for me, like, I feel like this would be a great thing for people like that that don't work 9 to 5, that can, because at that point when you're working like that, then you should have breaks.
Yeah.
You should have several breaks throughout the day.
Yep.
So if this is a 10-minute thing and it's in between, then
all right. So I'm down if you work 12 hours. If you work 12-hour days, I'm down. I'm down for you to go in there.
I'm down.
It's got to count as one of your 15-minute breaks, though.
You should have breaks.
I'm just
Otherwise,
joking.
You're gonna.
Tori, what do you got?
I'm gonna go Mack move.
Yeah, you're crazy for saying whack move.
No, I'm an employer,
Crazy,
bro.
bro.
I'm an employer. Bad enough I got to deal with people having to go and sit on the toilet for 45 minutes and look at their phone.
What if just me and
Not
you
calling out anybody's name, but, I'm just saying.
What if it was just for me and you?
Well, bro, I don't know that we have that type of relationship that me and you are just going to go in there and cuddle. Is that what you're trying to say? I don't even know what you're trying to say.
I like this for
separately.
First you hit on Tori.
Separately.
First you hit on Tori when you said that you had the white claws under your pillow, and now you want to snuggle with me, bro. Chill, dude.
Yeah, somebody might
Just
catch a
chill.
freaking Valentine to the face.
All right, so go ahead. What were you going to say?
I like this for all of the office criers that won't have to cry in the bathroom anymore.
Yeah.
Whoa.
We
know
don't
it's a
have any
big
of those,
thing.
though. We don't have any
No,
of those.
you don't.
No, everybody loves those
Office
things,
criers.
All
None of those at Mack
So
Media.
that is going to wrap up Mack Move or Wack Move. I have a gentleman patiently waiting for me out in the lobby, so I'm going to go and assist him with what he needs. Real quick, though, I just want to touch on one thing really quick, and then you're going to have to close out Serena because we got to give all of her handles and everything like that. If you have it, if you don't, then you're unprepared.
Well, he's recording Tori with my phone right now.
Okay, well, then we're screwed.
No, I can still. I know.
Tori can do it,
Hey,
right?
guess what? I have it memorized.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Listen, real quick. Brian, our intern, love him, climbing the ranks, great kid. His outfit is on fleek today. So is Brian's outfit a Wack move or a Mack move? Mack move for Brian. What do you got? I'm usually a no sock. I don't like people that wear no socks. I don't like that look. But on Brian, with that hair and that fade, that boy is sharp. I like that boy.
Mack move.
Mack move. What do you got?
Unanimous Mack
Yeah,
move.
Mack
of
That
course.
boy Brian.
He's looking sharp.
Yeah. All right. So that's going to conclude us. Tori, can you do you have that or no? Or Chase, do you have it memorized?
I do.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
All right,
I
go
know
ahead.
all of her tags. That's really all I
Spit it.
need to know. The rest
Spit
is
it.
easy. So if you want to follow Sabrina on Instagram.
Sabrina, holy shit! You have it memorized. You don't even have her goddamn name right. All right, go ahead, Sarina.
All right, we can edit that out. If you want to follow Sarina Morales on Instagram, it's Morales at MORALES. That's twice on Instagram. On Facebook, you can just search her up, Sarina Morales, and then on
You almost did it
Twitter.
again.
On Twitter, it's
Just
at Serena.
At Serena.
Yes.
Yep.
And then for Mac, so if you got one, she also has a website, www.serenamorales.com. And then, as always, guys, please leave us a review on iTunes if you love our content. Give us a like on Facebook. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram at Mack Talks. And that's it. We're out.
That's it. Tori, say goodbye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
Love you.
Love you.